settle in. Let's get comfortable in the physical space where we are. And as your body begins to feel comfortable, whether you are seated or lying down, just really almost kind of snuggle in so that you feel like you are supported and that you are safe in the spot where you are. And as you allow your eyes to close or to cast them away from the screen, again, just feeling safe and secure in the spot where you are. And start to notice your breath. Just notice the beautiful gift of that breath in. And then just as beautiful of a gift of the breath out. And just allow the breath to calm you in that space where you are. Chances are we were all busy doing something in the moments leading up to the here and the now. And so just use that breath, slow and steady and balanced, to allow you to come into the space where you are. Come into this moment where we are. And let the busyness just stop. And let's practice a little being and a little less doing. And as the body begins to settle and the mind hopefully starts to follow just a little bit, let's try to find some breath together collectively. So begin to take a slow, deep breath in. And then just exhale, let it go. And a slow breath in together. And a full release out. Breathing in. And breathing out. And then I would invite you for these next few breaths, just check in with your head. Check in with that space where all those thoughts seem to occupy every single inch, and just see, what are the thoughts right now that are racing across your mind, that are filling up your attention? And just get an awareness of it. And then I would invite you just to kind of check in around your shoulders. Today we're going to talk just a bit in our time together about some things that need to be let go of. And so I want you to notice if there's any heaviness in your shoulders, physical heaviness, emotional heaviness, mental heaviness. Just check in and see. Do you feel like you're carrying something or many somethings? You know, whenever we show up for a yoga class, the first thing we do is take our shoes off and we leave our things, and then we enter into this space and we try to separate from whatever those things were that we left behind. But the difference with meditation, as opposed to our physical yoga practice, is we tend to bring all that stuff with us. We sit and we get still, and we have this deep desire in our heart to begin to calm the mind. And often we forget to think about for just a few seconds what we've brought to the moment, what we've brought to the space. It's not a matter of thinking there's anything wrong with us or we've done anything that's not very meditation-like by showing up this way. It means that we are human and we carry a lot. And first we need to honor that fact. Just really validate different phases in your life. You carry different things. You have different burdens. You have different struggles. It's a part of this existence in our world. But we have to recognize how we show up so then we can begin to do something with that. We meet it with compassion. We meet it with patience. And then we begin to notice its impact on us. And what we learn from the noticing will then tell us what parts need to stay and what parts need to go. I have a card that sits by my meditation spot. And it's been in the same spot for quite a long time. It was given to me by my teacher. And it's a quote from Lao Tzu that says, "When I let go of who I am, I become who I might be." Listen to that again. When I let go of who I am, I become who I might be. We talk a lot in this practice about our purpose, about our path, about our contribution to this world. But we have to recognize that we can't pursue this idea of who we might be at the core of our being if we don't get rid of some of the layers that are in the way, if we don't release some of the heaviness that's really bogging us down. And so I'd like for us just to sit just for a few breaths here and just think about that quote. When I let go of who I am, I become who I might be. I think what he's telling us is when I let go of who I think I am, who the world has told me to be, who I've become because of this conditioning of my mind and because of these influences around me. That's what I think he's talking about. Letting go of that. And so let's just sit and each of us just think about that quote. When I let go of who I am. And just see what kind of comes up in your mind of what it means for you today in this moment. For a long time, I thought that quote was talking about getting rid of the labels and the roles and the titles that I have, so I can dig down deep into who I really am, who this divinely created person is that I am inside. But I think he's talking about more than just our roles, more than our titles, that we're not just a mom or a friend or a spouse or a daughter or a cousin or an employee or all the things. I think he's asking us to go beyond that. What has your perception created in this image of you? How do you see yourself? How content are you with this person that you sit with in meditation, that you live with every day, that you look at in the mirror? I think our world has taught us to not be content with that person, which means we've probably put layers of perception on how we see ourselves. And what Lao Tzu said so long ago is stop. Stop. Even then, before this contemporary society came, before the impact of all the things that we have to deal with in this vast digital world, even then, in his wisdom, he knew we just had to stop. Stop seeing ourselves as something that we're not. Stop being critical of ourselves. Stop not liking ourselves. I firmly believe that each one of us was divinely created. And I also believe that this divine force that created me dwells inside of me and dwells inside of the 8 billion people on this planet. So think about if you've got a friend or a daughter or a spouse or someone important in your life, that you see them, you see who they are. And it fills your heart and makes you so proud. But then the way they speak about themselves and how they see themselves, sometimes it breaks your heart that they can't see what you see. Well, I believe that this divine force inside of us sometimes has a broken heart as well, because we can't see the good that he sees. No matter how you define your creation or how you define your relationship with a higher being, just imagine if the creator that created you sees the beauty and the awesomeness of who you are, how they feel when you can't see it. I think that's what Lao Tzu was referring to. When I let go of who I am, I become who I might be. I dig deep into the essence of my spirit and my soul. I let go of these perceptions and these negative ideas about myself, and I become who I might be. So I would invite you for these next just couple of moments of quiet. No doing, not really any being, maybe just becoming. Letting these layers of heaviness just fall away. The negative impressions that you have of yourself. The way you look at your flaws and your mistakes, and they seem to just stand out. Maybe we could sit for these couple minutes together and just start to see what the one that created us sees. The incredible beauty of who you are. So just continue to breathe slow and deep, calming breaths. And see if you can just picture this becoming of what you might be. And as you check in with yourself and just notice what rose up during those few moments, what'd you notice? What'd you see in your mind? When I let go of who I am and who the world has told me to be, or who the world has named me to be, I will become who I might be. This word might, it's talking about the potential of each of us. The good, the compassion, the beauty that exists has nothing to do with physical appearance. It has nothing to do with skill or degrees or accolades or titles. That beauty, that goodness, that compassion was already there from the first breath that we each took. And it's still there waiting for us to discover it. We have a word in yoga, there's a Sanskrit word for one of the precepts of how we should live our life, and it's called santosha. And the literal translation of it is contentment, but I personally translate it as being in love with my life. That's what Lao Tzu is talking about. Letting go of the layers, letting go of the heaviness, and figuring out a way to be in love with your life. To like this person that you sit with in meditation each time you show up. It doesn't happen automatically, but the more that you nurture this, the more that you sit with it, I am living proof that it is possible. So let's continue for the rest of the day, going into the week and the days to follow, sitting with this idea of let's let go of who we are, these perceptions, and let's work on the becoming who we might be. Namaste.